Hey everybody, I just want to go over the midterm and the final project a little bit more with you. Um, I'm going to show you some student examples that I received in the past, just last semester, so you can kind of take a look at what's been done and hopefully get a kind of a gauge for it. So with this project, I want you to take those ideas that Melvin's presented and come up with a basic layout design. Now, starting from scratch can be sometimes overwhelming, and I understand that very well. And what I want you to do is rely on the stuff that you've done in class already. Don't necessarily try to reinvent the wheel from scratch. And there are some other things I'm going to show you, but I want to show you some student examples to begin with. And then we'll talk a little bit about why I like them. Here's the first one. Now, these are not all perfect. I mean, there's always issues. But I want to kind of just go over the basics. Now, here's a web page here. Took the logo, created some menu navs here up at the top. He added a nice sidebar here on the left-hand side to talk about like weekly specials, things happening. He had a lot of fun making up content for the site, different specials going on. He added the free Wi-Fi thing, which I thought was a really nice touch. Added a nice picture here on the side, and then used the content. He also added some nice stuff. He just got into the character. You can see the menus down at the bottom as well. He's got the PayPal. These are things that I didn't necessarily ask for, but it was something that he had seen done, and it actually added quite a really nice touch. He went and found a gallery that he placed here in the very beginning. It's not a hard gallery to try to put in, but it's a small JavaScript gallery. Or a jQuery gallery. Here's the menu. So again, he kept the same format, the nav across the top, sidebar on the left hand side, and then we have the nice table with the donuts. And he added some more content, kept the things the same. If I can go to the contact page, and added kept this format the same, added a nice map here, follow us on, and then here's the form, and you use that quite nicely, which you're going to be working with. And then about us, he took that image that I gave and he made it a nice sepia color, and he pretended like it was the shop in 1971, which is a great idea. So he just had a lot of fun with it. This long image here was cropped. Maybe it looks really nice. It fit well. So overall, this was a nice layout. It's not super complex, but he did a really nice job of keeping consistent throughout. Here's another example of the same kind of thing. This is another student's work. Border at the top, or the logo at the top. Nice tagline here. Kind of doubles up. Put a nav across the top. He's got a nice content area with a sidebar. And he added a cool thing like donut trivia. And he also linked to other things. This is stuff I did not ask for, but he added it, and it turned out to be really clever and fun. Here's the menu page. Again, there's some things that need to be adjusted, like this needs to be up a little bit, but the idea is there, and it's got a nice picture of the donuts, some more trivia, and some of those kind of things. So it's a different take, a little bit different on the menu. The contact page, again, kept it simple, added some more trivia. So I like the fact that he got involved with the content, added stuff, was having fun with it. Those things are really, really important to me. Here's another example. Used a nice broad gallery here. Some really clean menu nav up at the top. This one's got some JavaScript going on in it. This is stuff that they did extra, so this is stuff that people found and came up with on their own. I didn't ask them to do it. I always like to have a menu of some sort, or a gallery of some sort showing pictures. So here's a nice change. It works well. This nice broad image. Keeps the page really nice, nicely done. Has some pictures, and here's a nice menu, some samples of the donuts. Got a menu at the bottom. So these are, and got the Twitter. See how they changed the colors to the Twitter and the those kind of things. That was really nicely done. Here's another little gallery that was added. So that was something special. Let's look at another example. Now here's a kind of a more of a standard kind of layout. Got a nice border at the top. Didn't use my logo design, which is fine. It didn't have to be. Put in a little coffee bean under the menus. Got a nice breakdown, main content and then a sidebar with some pictures in it. Some nice content here. Here's an email, little form to fill out. Go about the About Us page. Made some nice little pictures. Some nice pictures here. Nice menu. Different take on the menu. And the contact page. Everyone's using like a Google map here. And our Facebook and Google's Plus page. So this is another nice example of things. Now, one of the things that you can do to jumpstart your concepts and jumpstart your ideas is go to a templating company or a place that gives out free templates. For example, this company called Templated. You can look at their website and you can look through lots and lots and lots of different designs. So for instance, on their home page here, it'll load up a bunch of designs that you can choose from. So you can scroll through these, and if you find something that you like for instance, I always look for color palettes or a layout that I think is interesting. But if I like, say, this one here, if I click on it, it'll load up in the window, and I can look at it and kind of see how it's going to look. And it's pretty big and in your face. I'm not looking for something necessarily like that, but you can scroll through these different pages here. I'm going to go to the 4th page, and keep looking. These kind of get to some older designs and have some more designs that are a little bit more, I think, contemporary or well, kind of standardized. And I thought this one looked good because it had a chocolate color palette already, and I thought I would look at it. And if I wanted it, I could download it, and take a peek of it. So let me do that and see if it'll let me here. So I'm going to let it download for a second. I'm going to pause while it does. Okay, so the zip's already there. So I'm going to try to find that. I'm going to open it up here. And when I do that, I get this HTML that I can work with. I get my CSS. I'm going to open this now in my, well, I'm going to open the HTML. So I get the HTML here, and I can experiment around with it. Now I'm going to extract it. And when I do that, I'm going to, extract it. I don't want it to be in the, okay, here we go. So now I can look at this, my index page, and I can open this with my browser, and here's what I've got. So I can look at this and see how it's laid out. Now sometimes these things get very complex, and you don't want to necessarily have to deal with all of those things. So what I want to do is, when I go back to that file has different options. It's got one column, two column, three column. If I open up my one column, I'll get this. This is my two column here. I guess I want to open up a two column. And I have my main content here, and I have my sidebar, which is what I want to do. So for instance, if I opened that with Dreamweaver, so if I took my two column one, there's two column one, two column two, whichever side that I wanted on, and I open this up with Dreamweaver, then I can mess with that code. And so for instance, then I could change my content here. I'm going to go to my split view. I don't want it live. I'm just going to go into design. And then here I have my title. And of course I could change it to Donut Delights. And I'm getting this kind of stuff. I can put in I've got my container and my divs, and I've got all this stuff kind of here laid out. And if I then save that and run it, I've got this, and I can experiment around. I can change this information, and I can use this as a very good starting point. I can take my picture here, swap the picture out with other content. Here's my sideboard, so here's my picture, so I'll simply just swap that out with a picture that I want. And then that gives me the ability to start off with a design that's already working, and that's completely fine too. I want you to look and see what resources exist out there. Now, I don't want it to be something that's so complicated that that you can't manage it. So if you get something that's full of content that's just too hard to sift through, then maybe that's not a good option. But you can also learn a lot by looking at the code and trying to figure out, what's been done and what's doing what. And so that is a legitimate thing to do. And so in the examples that I showed here, this one was content done through this method. So found a template that worked, took out basically whatever you don't want, and kept what you do want. But sometimes that can get too complicated, and you want to stick with standard. But it also gives you lots of ideas to think about and to shoot for. Lots of stuff that you don't have to reinvent. There's lots of stuff there. And so I want you to be thinking about that when you're doing your designs and doing your redesigns. Keep it simple, but also look at lots of stuff and download these things and see what you get. There's lots and lots and lots of things that's possible, and you can change your own colors and all that sort of thing as well. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you got to start from scratch, but it doesn't mean I want you to take templates and just swap out a couple words and pictures. I want you to use it as a good starting point, but then modify it to suit the needs of the client, and then present it to me, and we'll check it out. All right, that's what I wanted to share with you today. I hope that's helpful. I hope that gets you going a little bit more. So check out things like that, and good luck, and I look forward to seeing your new designs.